bringing you a cast from the CasterMuse Narak Star League. This is a best of one between Free and IcaruS, going by Ho here. Now, IcaruS is just... how do I explain this? He's an up-and-coming Terran player. He's very, very strong. You know, the pros all know who he is, but he is not someone that you would expect to beat Free. Free, obviously, a ridiculously strong Protoss, one of the original 6 dragons. He's been in pretty darn good shape here once again, so definitely expecting him to be favored. The map is polypoid, and as we can see, they're cross spawns, so that kind of makes it so that this should probably end up being a big macro game. And I mean, I think that you would give the edge to Free, but do not count out anyone of this level that IcaruS is, right? Like, if anything starts to go his way, if he plays a solid game, he definitely is capable of taking down Free. So kind of excited to see how this goes down, especially because it is polypoid. You know, I feel like a lot of the TVPs we see end up being on sillier maps, kind of like Eclipse or something, so you get like a lot of rushes going. But somewhere here, like polypoid, you know, cross map, hard to imagine anyone dying very quickly here. Now, just taking a look, looks like just a forward barracks here. Probably a gaseous expansion based on this placement, but I guess we'll see in just a second. No, he does take the gas, so never mind about that. That is a very forward racks. Probably will end up putting a depot here, so he does have a hole to micro against Zealots on. But that is so far to the side that I could see Zealots being slightly troublesome. But since it's cross map, of course, that's going to rule a lot of that out. It'll take them so long to get across the map. Looking over at Free's base, doesn't look like he wants to make a Zealot either, just producing his probes, getting that core up rather quickly. In fact, scouting only after the core. So, yeah, a little bit late there on the scout, but you can kind of choose when you want to scout as a Protoss player and not really tied down to any specific timings, because any Terran worth anything is going to basically block you from scouting what they don't want you to see. He sees the SCV coming over and then deduces that he should be in the bottom left, so sends the probe there immediately. Yeah, and there is the little bit of a wall-in going on. Factory on the way here for IcaruS, only 1 on gas, so it does look like it'll be a factory expansion. Over at Free's base, we have range on the way. We have that Dragoon on the way as well. As IcaruS scouts to the north, he'll end up finding him second here. And yeah, pretty standard openers, kind of just expecting for IcaruS to expand down to his natural. Maybe a bunker, maybe not. There are some cool builds where you actually skip making the bunker nowadays. The SCV coming up into the main base, getting body blocked by that Dragoon a little bit, but he'll get a reasonable scout off of the main base. Ends up seeing 2 pylons, which is all he should have right at this moment anyways. The third one does end up going down. So it's not the quickest Nexus here from Free, but it doesn't really look like he's cheesing either. This might just be for a little bit of safety. Normally when you go for the 3 pylons, you end up getting 3 Dragoons in range and going for your expand. Over on the other side, yeah, it's going to be 3 Marines into a Vulture here for IcaruS. He's cut his SCVs a little bit early and is going for that depot after the command center. And we'll get back into that production. But of course, as you can see, Free really not cutting as many probes here, so having a little bit better of an economy, up 4 workers at the moment. Now the Vulture slips by, and as soon as you see that Vulture slip by, the Protoss has to draw back with at least 1 Dragoon for the ramp. We don't have one there yet, no Dragoon on the way, so he actually has to turn this one around, which leaves just a single Dragoon up front, which of course 3 Marines can end up dealing with. So some nice play here from IcaruS, keeping the pressure off of himself by threatening that counter damage. Robotics on the way. Range just about to finish, so that Dragoon can start to do a little bit of harassment if it likes. The Vulture turns around as it takes a hit from this defensive Dragoon, and not going to be able to make it into the main base or anything, but you know what? He's already kind of done what he set out to do. Oh, the probe somehow slips in. I'm not even sure how that happened. The Dragoon must have gone up and taken some hits, but it gets in here. It sees a spinning out on it, sees a siege tank popping out. I think you have to assume that that is going to be the mine upgrade, which of course it is. Armory on the way here for IcaruS. as he just continues to produce those SCVs. Another vulture coming out. This vulture hit it on the map. If this vulture gets picked off before mines, it's about the worst feeling in the whole world as a Terran player. So hopefully for his sake that won't occur. Observatory on the way for free as he does get his second gateway up, transferring his probes down to the natural now. A little bit late on that overall. And you can see that IcaruS has basically caught up as far as that economy goes, right? He's only down a couple workers right now and has been mining from his natural for a little bit. Now, some mines being laid. It looks like he laid a single mine here and then probably tried to run up with the hurt vulture towards the third base, but it got picked off by this dragoon. Some more mines going down. Looks like Free ate one there with the goon, but that's all right. Still going to be alive and fine. Push back this vulture. And down it ends up going. And even gets the mine. Very nice. Probe coming out for that third base. Kind of a slow game, honestly. I thought we might see a little bit of fireworks, but you know what? When you slip a probe out like that, it is in the Protoss's best interest to sit back just slightly more defensively, right? You don't want to move your Dragoons way out of position and lose a bunch of probes, because that can be really critical damage from the Terran player. Now, the third Nexus going up, just constant production here from Free, Observer, and 2 Gate Dragoons. So an army that's plenty strong. Second factory is almost done here. We already have the eBay up and looks like a single defensive missile turret as of now. Yeah, second one going down here. He's not really sure of what's going on. I think he kind of assumes that it's Observer and Dragoon, but since he hasn't seen it, you do have to prepare for Reaver as well. Reaver is just such a common opener. And now IcaruS getting a Goliath here to help supplement some anti-shuttle play. Another turret going down, and still not a lot of intel here from IcaruS. Free continuing to produce. Stargate on the way, as well as Forge. And we should be seeing the Templar Archives as well. Yeah, there we go. So this is going to be a very quick Arbiter play. Following up this 3 bases with just 2 gates. So he's teching really rapidly, kind of all the different tech all at once here. And now just clearing out the map a little bit. I gotta tell you, look at these. It looks relatively even right now. Maybe slight advantage towards Free, but the build that we see coming out of IcaruS is pretty normal. He's getting his starport at a reasonably normal time. He's going to want to continue those upgrades forward. Couple Goliaths, very defensive in that regard. No third factory as of yet. In fact, throws down the third command center, but I don't think he's going to be able to expand right away with that. We should see a gateway explosion coming out of Free. And of course, IcaruS, no scanners yet, so not entirely sure how many units he's going to be dealing with. Dragoons come up and just target down that turret that was being built. Get rid of that immediately. You see a nice amount of observers here from Free as he spreads those out around the base a little bit. And IcaruS deciding to move up and start turret pushing towards his third base, which I think is a pretty reasonable play. Of course, he doesn't know what Free is doing here, and Free dives a little bit. Not the greatest dive. Gets a siege tank. He will end up getting a second one here as well, but losing a lot of his Dragoons. I think now might be the time for IcaruS to try to take that high ground. But yeah, IcaruS doesn't have the most information right now. If Free had done something like a Gateway Man play, IcaruS would literally just die, but almost lucky for him, Free has gone up into Arbiter Tech. He's adding a lot of gateways now, so he is going to macro up very, very quickly from here, but he doesn't have a large standing army at the moment. So this kind of more high-tech army we see from IcaruS should be completely fine. At least for now. Third CC is done, adding more factories now. The second armory coming up as well. Where's that first armory? Here it is. Yeah, and he's got that +2 started, so very nice there. Continuing to push forward here against those Dragoons. Wants to take that third base immediately, and if you can get that mining, the quicker you can mine from your third base, the better that is for Terran. But you do have to be careful. If Protoss has really put a lot of money into units rather than tech, that's where you can really get run over, right? If he was like on 4 gates the whole time before the third Nexus, then this could get stomped. But instead, you know, he's gonna be all right. He's read the situation correctly, I guess, and Free, while he does have a very healthy probe count, very good tech, doesn't have too big an army yet. Now, throws down a couple pylons here while he expands to 12 for some anti-vulture harassment. IcaruS. Oh, look at this. Starting his 4th command center off of just 3 factories. So IcaruS is getting ready to play a very big macro game here. I'm actually getting kind of excited because, yeah, it's been a slow opener. But if IcaruS lives through the next few minutes, like the next 4 minutes, this is going to be an excellent game. Because this, like, the 3rd base is up very quickly. The 4th command center is starting before a lot of factories. And, of course, IcaruS is going to want to add a ton of factories at this point, and really macro heavily. Like, he should not make any more SCVs. And these better be his last 3 right here, because he's already at 65, which is a hell of a lot. And he doesn't have that much army, whereas Free right now, yeah, he doesn't have that big of an army either. Like, you can definitely hold off the 150 supply with the 110 supply of Terran. But Free is going to max out really quickly from here. He's kind of got everything he needs. He's got all of his tech rolling. He's got his 4th base and is sending the probes to saturate. So we're going to see him kind of explode forward here with his units and not slow down at all. So IcaruS getting up right now. It looks like he's going to 7 factories. Honestly, he can go to 9 very cleanly, especially with the amount of probes, probes, drones, SCVs. I call them everything except what they are. You know, a lot of SCVs out, so he can really support however many factories he wants to go for. Free now, walking down with his army. Let's take a look. Still just macroing out very heavy zealots, so he's definitely planning on an attack here. As you start filling with those zealots, that's going to be a very powerful play to try to bust in. Looking at the Dragoon count, looks like he only has 13 Dragoons total. So that's a little bit light on those Dragoons, but they will help to clear this out. Look at this. A huge amount of units coming in for Free. I think we're going to have a hold here from IcaruS. Not the best targeting. That's actually a very good stasis. That leaves only siege tanks on the low ground right now, continuing to push forward. A lot of Dragoons still alive. The Zealots getting on top of the siege tanks. And IcaruS, did you fly too close to the sun? Not enough vultures here for the hold. The 3rd CC gets picked off, and he is in a ton of trouble now. His siege tank count getting almost completely reset. Few vultures up here trying to lay their mines as well. Oh, I do not like this for IcaruS right now. Kind of anticlimactic moment. He almost got into a big macro game, but GG is called, and Free's gonna take him down.